My name is Corey Johnson.
My name is Stephen Price.
We started the business in September 2021. We opened our doors.
Almost 3 years.
For me, it was really just kind of watching my grandparents age. I have a grandfather that died of Parkinson's. My other grandfather had a brain aneurysm, and I kind of watched him go back through his recovery and get back home. And right now I have a grandmother that's in the skilled facility, and I had one that's since passed, but she wanted to stay at home, and she didn't really have the resources. So it was just really difficult watching her struggle through that. So that's kind of what drew me here.
Yeah, and I have a very similar story to Corey's, and I think we've both been in healthcare for around about 20 years now. We've seen good care, we've seen bad care through family members. My mum had Alzheimer's. We've seen just how important it is. So we wanted to get involved in the industry so we could give back and impact more people and provide people the same care our loved ones have received. Corey and I are both very passionate about veterans, and so a large part of the focus of our business is on veterans. And we found a veteran who was in her late 30s in a nursing home, was recovering from multiple strokes, and was in a nursing home where the average age was in late 70s. So she was sort of a fish out of water, if you will, but she couldn't go home because she didn't have a family member that could care for her. And so we were able to jump in as a company, not just Corey and I, but our entire team, and help equip her grandmother's house, who she loves dearly, so that there were ramps. She was disabled in a wheelchair, so there were ramps, and the house was fitted out. We were able to get a lot of charities to help us with that process. We got her approved for veteran care, and she was able to move home and live with her grandma on her birthday. That was just an incredible story to see the impact we could have on that family.
Yeah, it was really cool to kind of see that story progress. I'll go a little bit of a different way on it. Both Stephen and I have had the opportunity to kind of participate in the care delivery by way of transportation.
Yep.
And we had a great client that was with us early on, where we would just take her to go get her hair done. And Stephen and I were both able to participate in that. So kind of give, me an opportunity to kind of see it firsthand and see the impact that we were making. So it's just been really rewarding. For us, we talked to a number of different franchises, both in home care and other types of businesses. It was really the leadership team, working with Kurt, working with Leah, just the familiarity that we were able to establish with them really quickly, and just the passion that they had for the work. It really helped us to decide pretty quickly that they're people that we were comfortable doing business with.
Yeah, I agree, and I give Corey pretty much all the credit. He did all the legwork and due diligence on ABS, but I would agree with him on the people. And I would also throw in Diana. She was a huge pull for us. We're both salespeople by training, and so we were really curious about the sales support that they offered, and Diana is who she was presented to be, and has been a great resource for us. But the people were really the thing that drew us to the brand.
Right out the gate, the thing that really separated ABS from other solutions was the managed model, because we were looking for something that was going to allow us to kind of continue in our own respective career paths, but kind of start to diversify a little bit. So kind of the forward thinking around being able to provide a solution for people like us to be able to do something a little bit different was something that set them apart really early on.
Yeah, I think work ethic. Corey and I work hard in both jobs, and Leah and team have always been right there alongside us or ahead of us in terms of just how hard they work and how passionate they are about the business, and most importantly, the clients we serve and the caregivers that we work with. So we really found a true partner where our mission was aligned, which is always great.
We were one of the first programs to kind of, to benefit from that. It's, I think that it was a learning process for everybody, and we went into that knowing that there'd probably be some bumps here and there, and that it wouldn't be a straight line to success, and we certainly experienced that. But the one thing that I would say is that the support never really wavered, and they were constantly looking for solutions, and they were always really open to feedback, and a lot of the things that we suggested, they really quickly put into place. So it was really, given that it was new and a novel concept, I think that it worked really well for us, and we wouldn't have been able to do what we've done without it.
Yep, I think a great indicator of a true partnership is how people respond to challenges, and there are always going to be challenges, especially in a newer model. And every time we had a challenge, ABS, Leah, and team stepped up to help us through every single issue. So we always felt like we had a true partner. I think, Corey and I, although we've been in healthcare, we don't have home care experience. And so we're still learning a great deal about the business, but to have people like Leah, Diana, Weston, Steve, that have been in the business for 15, 20 years, I think it helps us avoid some pitfalls that we would have faced at sort of trial by error if we hadn't been involved. And so I think the industry knowledge is phenomenal. I think availability, we can call them at any time and get immediate feedback. And so I think a lot of the uncertainty of starting your own business was taken away because we have that support and we have that partnership. So I think those are the things I would point to.
Yeah, and I think especially thinking about Kurt setting up the business in the state of Texas, there's a lot of regulations. There would have been a mountain of research that candidly we probably just wouldn't have done. We would have walked away from, but they did all that, and they put it in front of us, and it just made it very turnkey and very easy to be able to step into it and just to move. We've been pretty involved, and I think they have allowed us to do that. But whenever we've needed support, it's been there. The biggest impact for us right now is just being able to have the support for recruiting coming from corporate, being able to source candidates that we can bring through to orientation. We've done weekly phone calls on a regular basis. We do monthly calls with them. Pretty much anything that we ask, they've put their best foot forward and incorporated it for us. So I think the support's been great.
I think it's evolved over time as we've grown as a business. I think probably the amount of support has dropped off by design. They were really involved up front when we needed them. We had people in territory for weeks at a time helping us, which was really helpful when we started. And then as the relationships matured, I think we'll probably have less support now, but I think that's a good thing because that means we've hired some of the right people in the business and we're doing things ourselves. But to Corey's point, whenever we need them, we know they'll be on the phone, or people will jump on a plane to come out and help us. We have no doubt of that.
It's worth a conversation. I mean, I think that, again, it's a really solid group. We're 3 years into this, and, they've done nothing but refine the process, refine the levels of support. It's a great group to work with, a very supportive group, a very knowledgeable group, and a group that's absolutely committed to the success of its franchises.
Yeah, and I would add, I think the ownership group now outside of the franchise, the owners of the individual franchises, has also grown and developed. So we've had the benefit of talking to other owners that are further along in the process that are always happy to jump on the phone. So it's great. There's a really good culture of owners helping owners. We're not competing against each other. And so that's also a really helpful aspect that we found.